First.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been about a week of camp. You've settled in, guys have settled in. Just how would you evaluate progress so far and what you've seen?
I think you're working really hard. I think we have great competition and great depth, and they understand that they have to compete every single play. Tell the players all the time, you can have a bad play, but you can't have a bad day. That's attitude. So right now we're focused on competition. So that's what we're focusing on right now.
We've talked a little bit in the spring about splitting responsibilities. You've got the tackles, Tyler's got the ends. How do you see that kind of manifesting itself and playing out now that you get a chance to just work with specific guys and specific technique and don't have to worry about what's going on outside?
Well, the game is changing, so it's so much faster, so much spread out, and the techniques are so different now. So I think moving forward, that's the direction I have to go with defensive line because we actually do so many things now. So I actually really enjoy it. And makes you go back to the basics when I was a high school coach like 30 years ago. So I really, really enjoy it.
Had you done this previously though?
No, I've never done it before. In my 32 years, I've never done it. But I think the game is changing. And what we ask the ends to do now, they got to drop in coverage, they got to do this, they get to zone read. So it's a lot of stuff they got to do, and my guys got to do a lot of stuff. So the direction where college football is going, I think that's what you'll see more and more teams doing. I think there's a lot, like 34 teams that do it now. I think we'll see more.
We talked to Lance a little bit about playing on edges more. I guess for those that don't really understand it, what does that look like for the defensive tackles position?
It's really, we look at four things, I think, that's really important for defensive linemen. First thing is their alignment. We have to be aligned correctly. And that's so important. Just being an inch off will cause problems in a double team. So it's really the alignment, and then they have to have a great stance. They have to have the eyes in the right spot, and they have to get off the ball. And if you get off the ball, you can create knockback, and you can create a new line of scrimmage. So we have to be aligned correctly. We have to have the best stance we own, and the key is your eyes, where you place your eyes. And a lot of time when defensive linemen struggle, he has to look all around instead of what they're supposed to be looking at. And to get those three things, then you get to get off, and then you cause penetration to happen. That's the key.
And for someone like Tommy Dunn, then, I guess what kind of progress have you seen from him since you got here and played junior?
Tremendous amount of progress. Him and DG Winters are progressing at a really good level. They're not where we need to be, but they're getting better every day, and that's the key. As long as we show progress, but they have some ability you can't teach. They can bend, they can get off blocks, they can just move their body around, stuff. They're flexible, so they're moving the direction. Are they ready to play today? No, but we still got 24 more days, so that's what's cool about it right now.
There's been a lot of guys who come into this program, but your group wasn't really touched in terms of transfers, guys with other experience. How much is that a reflection of the confidence that you all have and those guys who are coming back?
It's a unique room because we have 5 older kids, and then we have all 4 younger kids, so it's very unique. So we have Caleb Sampson, who I think is going to have a great season. The best leader I ever coached in 31 years is Sam Burt. He's doing a phenomenal job leading. So with those 2 guys, and we got Ron McGee, and we got Eddie Wilson, who I love Eddie. I've known Eddie since he was 16 years old. I have a great relation with Eddie, so it's great. So we have those older kids, and we have the young kids who are coming at a level. So we have great, I guess, mix where we want right now. Some kids that understand what it's like to be in the wars, and we got some kids that want to be in the wars. So it's pretty good mix of room right now.
I asked Lance last week, and he says a guy like you will want to say as many as possible. How in terms of rotation, snaps, dividing things, how many guys do you want playing in a game?
Possible.
Yeah.
I've played 13, 14 defensive linemen.
Okay.
If they can play, like, here's what I know after coaching this a long time, there's 2 things. If you play a lot of kids, if they earn it, it creates 2 things. It creates buy-in and competition. So when you're competing in practice during the season and you know you got to play, then here we go. It creates those 2 things. So you have great buy-in and great competition. Now they have to earn that every week. They understand that. If I don't practice at a high level, no matter if I'm 5th year senior or a true freshman, I'm not going to play this year. So that to me is exciting.
Jim, pretty strong words about Sam there. What? No
Just
hesitation.
The way he conducts himself.
Okay.
The way he handles himself. The way he leads. The way he communicates. How much he cares about the players. How much he cares about me. How much he cares about this program. It's pretty special. And I think the world of him.
Did that show itself to you early with him?
Yes, right away.
Yeah.
Right away. I knew right away.
What was that first interaction with him like? I mean,
Just you can tell how important it is for this program for him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't coach, I don't care if I play, I don't care if I play 100 plays, I want to win. I want to leave it better how I found it. So Sam is by far the best leader I've had.
And what could you describe his leadership style then? I mean, whether it's vocal or example or both, or
I think he can talk to people. A lot of people think leadership is yelling.
Yeah.
Leadership is not yelling. Leadership is holding people accountable and talking to people. And he does a great job of that. You know, when I was a young coach, I used to yell all the time. Now I don't raise my voice, but I get my point across, and they understand that. So I think Sam has a good base of that.
and you see those guys respond to him?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, before sometimes I can talk, he's talking.
wow.
Which is great, which you want. Right? My job as a coach is to prepare them.
Yeah.
So if I'm not there for a day, Sam Burt and Jelani Arnold, who's also another great leader, should be able to run the room. And then I should be able to give them remote control. I should step back and let them talk. That's my job as a coach.
Is there anything point of emphasis wise you want to work on with the guys?
Get off the ball. Get off the ball. I think the number one thing we got to stop the run. We have to make teams one-dimensional. If you make teams one-dimensional, then you have a shot to win football games. But you have to stop the run. All these spread offenses are really cool, but you look at the stats, what the best thing they do is they run the ball. If they make them one-dimensional, then they have problems. So the first thing we have to do, we have to stop the run. And we got to cause penetration.
When you talk about stopping the run, this team didn't do that very well last year. And so-
Well, I wasn't here last year, so
Correct.
it's irrelevant to me.
So that's what I was gonna ask you,
Yeah.
is how much do you look at that as a?
I haven't watched a single film. When I took the job, I took the job because of Lance. And I know the job they did previous spots. I know how great a job that was. So that was irrelevant to me. I haven't looked at a single day of film. I make my own opinion of my players and move forward. So
To that point though, with Sam obviously being around him, he last year had injuries and he had the red shirt and everything, and I'm sure that kind of hurt the run defense. Have you seen that in practice and getting ready that he can be a big help? And,
yeah, he's so strong. He's so powerful. You know, in this Big 12, it's a lot of, everybody thinks his confidence is passing the ball. If you look at it, it's about inside zone. That's about playing double teams. And Sam Burt is strong. Sam Burt does not get displaced, and Sam Burt is in his gap. He's got great care level. You know, I use an expression, you want to it's more important than breathing the beating gun. And he takes that role.
You mentioned thinking Caleb Sampson could have a really big year. What do you see with him?
Quick twitch, explosion, natural pass rush ability. Those are three things. And I think he's really comfortable, and I think he's primed to have a great year.
You mentioned Sam's leadership. Caleb's a guy who's been through a lot in life. How much does that, maybe just life experience translate to some of his teammates, and especially the younger guys?
I think it's good because here's what I know: the more older kids you have that play, that's a good thing, because they understand the ups and downs. They understand consistency. They understand doing their job. So the more older kids we have up front, that's a good thing for us, because that's really bad time. Because usually some young defensive linemen, they're really twitchy, they're explosive, but they don't understand how to be in your gap, and they want to pop around, peek in, peek out, and then the ball goes for 10 yards. We have to get teams at 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. If we can do that, and of course Brolin can tee it up, and we can be really good on defense. But if we try iso call plays when 2nd and 4, it's tough to be a good defensive coordinator in 2nd and 4. But when 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, you can be really good, get some good plays and control, and you can attack instead of being reactive. We can attack.
You may have quickly mentioned DJ, but another guy that looks good. It's got a big future for Kansas. Specifically, what do you like about him?
Very coachable, great attitude, listens, wants to get it. Really impressed with him. Really, tell you what, the guy has really flashed lost Taylor. So right now, I think he's practicing at a high level. So I'm really excited about him. He's worked really hard. And I'm thinking about Caleb, that I would come this summer, during vacation, I'll pop in and out. He'll be by himself working out. And football is a great sport. It doesn't care how big you are. It doesn't care how small you are. It doesn't care if you have long arm. It doesn't care if you're strong. The harder you work, the more success you have. And Caleb Taylor has really had an unbelievable work ethic this summer, and now we're seeing some of the results.
How's he handling that weight?
Really good, no issues. I told him it's important, right? The number one thing is their bodies. Like I tell the players all the time, I don't want to hear, this is 2022, right? The world's changing, there's NLI, all that stuff. The more plays they make, the more money they make, right? So the most important thing is your what? Your body. So that to me is a non-negotiable. I'm on them out really hard. The weight, what you're eating, recovery, everything. So I think they understand how important it is now.
Anything else?
Yeah, hey,
Yes,
Jim,
sir.
you've, I know you can't talk about specifics, but you've had some success here lately, D-linemen and things like that. I'm curious, what are you doing to recruit these guys, and what have you learned about KU and how to sell it?
I think when you recruit, you have to recruit the whole family. So here's the key in recruiting. When they have a bad day, or they're with their friends, and you go into Kansas, I can't believe you're going to Kansas, and then they go home, they need somebody to tell them you made the right decision. Does that make sense, guys? So to me, when you recruit the whole family, it doesn't mean mom and dad, it's who is the most important person in their life. You recruit them harder than the player. So when they have a bad day, or they give you a heads up, hey coach, now he's starting to struggle a little bit, he's starting to think about other schools, and then you can stop it. That's the key in recruiting, right? Because it's changing now. It's not like it used to be. I wish it was back when I first started coaching. It'd be a lot more fun and a lot easier, right? But it is what it is. We have to adapt. So that's the key, John, is recruiting their, I call it circle of influence. Who is their key circle of influence? And how can we go attack them? So when they have a bad moment, which 17-year-olds do have bad moments, right? When they go, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to do that, or they get in the mood, that person can call, or you can call them and say, listen, man, what's going on here? So that's the key. So I think that's really important in recruiting. So, but with Kansas, it's easy. Like, I love Lawrence. This is totally different than I was expecting. You know, because I used to recruit, when I was in my previous job, I would recruit junior colleges here. So that was my perception of Kansas. I come here, Lawrence is a great town. 100,000 people. It's got everything here you want. So you just got to get people here. And once you get them here, it's easy to sell. And that's the key we're doing. You know, the key is get one good player at a time, and don't worry about the players you lose. I learned, Coach O'Leary told me that a long time ago. When I was a young coach, I'd be like, oh my God, I lost this player. He looked at me. He was like, why are you so upset? Worry about the ones you get, not the ones you lose. Because the ones you get can help us win games.
Is that approach the, you know, they might hear something, then go home to their families, and their families didn't tell them they made the right decision. Is that approach something that you honed from like the tough years at Rutgers, the tough years at Temple, where you realized that maybe that
Yeah,
perception
because it kind of started at UCF. My first got to
Oh, yeah.
UCF, it wasn't like it was now, like winning 10, 11 games. Like, it was like the bottom, like no one wanted to go there. So I remember Coach O'Leary, who's probably my biggest influence in my coaching career, because I met him, I was a young coach in Minnesota Vikings, where I was scared to even talk. And he was their defensive coordinator.